Hello, this is Paul Risse with the Healing Podcast, and I am here today with my friend who I guess this is the first time that we've actually talked, besides the phone call the other day, in about 20 years. And his name is Chris Chouteau, and I knew him. We were both personal trainers with Extreme Makeovers in LA, La La Land, and I followed him on social media after we kind of split and went different directions at that point in our lives. And Chris has been a personal trainer for 25 years. Just watching him on social media, he's always helping people. That's literally the core of his life, is to help people. And recently, he's been dealing with some things in his life that he's trying to find solutions for. And to be perfectly frank, his approach has been courageous for me, just observing from a distance. And whenever I started this podcast, I wanted to explore the subject of healing through as many lenses as possible, and Chris is one of those lenses that I would like to view the subject from. So, Chris, welcome to the Healing Podcast.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, so share what you want. Give us a little bit of your background, kind of, the highlights, and then kind of where you're at today and kind of what you're dealing with.
All right, so I am 50. I just turned 50 back in March, which is
Nice.
3 months ago. So got hit the big 5-0.
Me too. Just last week. Here we go.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, so no, I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Moved out to LA around 26. We ended up getting the work at the Body Makeover Systems, which was an incredible experience of learning and just connecting, building confidence, and developing my personal life in the direction that I wanted to go. Ended up opening up my own studio after that. Well, it took about 15 years to open my own studio, but I've been in the health and fitness industry for about 25, 26 years now. I definitely found my place, like when we were at the Body Makeovers, of helping people, and starting just to develop my mindset and just starting to understand overcoming limitations. And actually, Paul, you're a big part of that, which is something that you said, self-imposed limitations at one point when we were having a conversation. And I told you about that last time we chatted, but it's like, at that point in time, I'd never heard anybody, and we were the same age, and I was like, self-limitations, and that stuck with me. Heck, it's 20-something years later, and I still remember at that point, and I'm like, self-imposed, what does that mean? And but anyway, kind of, let's see, where was I at? My ADD jumps around a lot, so.
Worked together at Extreme Makeovers, then you kind of developed your own program.
Yeah, so where I'm at right now, it's like 50 years old. Got married about 13 years ago. We ended up having 3 kids. So I've got a 9, a 7, and a 4-year-old. 4-year-old was a surprise baby. So as soon as we moved to Texas about 5 years ago, so we're right outside of San Antonio in a town called Schertz, Texas. Beautiful neighborhood, great people out here. And then tried probably about a little over a year ago, I was diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's, which was a shock. And I live and breathe healthy lifestyle, so it's like I've been very involved. Even prior to going to California, like I was very, very into fitness, health, always learning.
I remember cycling was like a real passion for you. Are you still cycling?
Well, I wish. I still got my bike, so with in particular with Parkinson's, they don't know what causes it. So it can be the bike crashes, and you can see like one of the things, like the delays in my speech, because usually I was a lot quicker, like with responses and talking, especially in the mornings. But I asked you to do this in the morning just because in the afternoons, like I can be really slow and a lot more sluggish in the evenings. But we'll kind of get into some of the things that I'm doing now that are helping that process. But yeah, so as far as cycling, I wish I was. I crashed on my bike about 2 years ago. I smacked my face on the ground. I probably had, I think that was my eighth or ninth concussion. And I don't want to say ninth because in case it is ninth, I seem to be a creator. Don't need any more of those. But I feel like everything got triggered off after at that point. So I've had a lot of the TBIs, and if I was to guess, there's certain things. Anyway, we'll kind of get into it, but that's a little about me. And
Yeah. Well, go ahead and get into it.
okay, so yeah, so that's when I started really noticing the symptoms, and I started noticing prior to that, even in California, some things. I've always been into mind body awareness of really connecting with my body. I used to race cycling, and I took it very serious. I pretended like I was a pro racer in my mind all the time, so I was always out focused, like on my training and my sprints, and just trying to connect the spinning and just putting all the dots together. But I noticed difference in coordination big time between left and right side. Now I'm right-handed, so of course the right side's always been dominant there. But after that crash, and then I kept riding. Like I have no fear. Like I've had so many bike crashes. Like there's like zero fear. Like when it comes to crashing, I think that's what scares my wife, and she doesn't want me doing it anymore. And that's why I'm not currently riding now. She says I'm only allowed to ride if I ride with other people, and I've not connected with enough people, and it's hard to connect because I always just want to go.
Just go ahead of everybody.
Yep, yep. When I go ahead of everybody, just like, hey, okay, I want to go on a ride, just go throw on my clothes and take off, and it doesn't.
Right.
People aren't on my schedule in that way. But yeah, so that's where I started really noticing the symptoms. Like whenever I need energy, I'd always go out for walks, and then I started noticing differences in my gait, which is a common thing, like with the Parkinson. And I don't claim this, by the way. So they diagnosed me, and we all know who they is.
Right.
So I don't claim it in that type of way.
So you're actively and consciously not identifying with a diagnosis just to not give it power.
Correct. 100%. 100%. And I do slip from time to time, and then I want people, like my wife will call it out when I do. I'm pretty good at it now, but early on I was like saying that I won't even say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely like to be called out because I've found, well, kind of like through the process of getting those about a year prior as we were going into before getting diagnosed, I started noticing like I was describing it as numbness, but something was off. I'm very in tune with my body. So, like something on my left side was off, and I was describing it as numbness, and that's what I described it as the doctors. Like I didn't even tell my wife for the first 9 months that I was dealing with it. But
Does it feel kind of like if you fall asleep on your leg falls asleep? Does it feel kind of like that?
no, it's not. I think numbness is the incorrect term. And then like last night I felt it a lot because like when I don't get a lot of sleep, my symptoms that I have tends to be a lot more intense. But like last night, like I feel it now. Like I feel, and yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of I don't know, it's a poor choice of words, but it's almost like a, no, I'm not even going to say it. I was going to say a dead feeling, but I'm not, I guess I said it.
Is it like just disconnected from that part of your body, kind of?
Yeah, I mean, I can still move it. Like if you see me like
Yeah.
start tapping, like I'm trying to do the same thing with my left hand.
Okay. Interesting.
Um, but yeah, but that wasn't happening early on. This has been like a slow. Well, to me, it's a fast progression, like in my mind, and I don't know because I'm not really following any medical anything, and we can kind of I'll get into that here shortly. But and then where were we at before that?
We were describing a feeling. So what are the things that make it worse? And then what are the things you're doing that obviously make it better? Like lack of sleep, you said, is one. Is diet affected at all or not really?
Yeah. So, but let me get back into the
Yeah,
prior
go for it.
diagnosed. Okay, so kind of coming up onto it, my parents came in town 2024 for Christmas, and we're all sitting around and we were drinking some wine, and that's where I like, hey, I've been having these feelings, and like, and I don't even think my wife took me serious, or she's just like, whatever, like, because I'm see, not telling her. Um, so prior to that, like it was just steady, where I kept feeling it. And then we end up, I'm like, okay, because in my mind, I even do Parkinson's out in that conversation. Everybody's like, no. And I didn't even really know what Parkinson's was other than shaking. So I didn't know anything about it. So anyway, right after my parents left, I told her, I was like, okay, like we got to go see a doctor because it's like I've been very good, like with my healthy lifestyle, exercise, nutrition, of really commanding, controlling outcomes of my health just with the decisions that I made. And this time, like things weren't getting better. Things that I was trying to exercise was not creating the improvements like they always have. I was thinking because what I was thinking is like, damn, do I have MS or what was it? There's something else, but it was like MS was the big one. Like
Right.
thinking I was feeling like I was losing control of my left side. So went and saw a doctor there. Got a MRI and we did blood tests to rule out autoimmunes and MS, which there was no lesions or anything. So they all came back. After I went to the doctor, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Because that
Right.
was my concern.
Right.
Um, Fast forward 2 more months, we had friends come into town, and like they're our best friends in California. They're the ones that we had drink wine and like just do things with. And of course, we're going out doing things, and I'm just like I'm off the whole entire time. Like
Mm.
I don't know if they noticed, but it's like there's just like it was like just this spaciness in my
Mm.
mind, cognitive.
Yeah.
So they kind of came. I didn't drink anything because I just went on one of my healthy lifestyle kicks for the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But as soon as they left, I told my wife, because the doctors tell me I need to see a neurologist, and I'm like, okay, no, in my mind I was worried about MS, so um, got luckily like that day, and she like I guess with the way that I told her, she's like, okay, this is serious because he wouldn't be bringing it up in the way that I did.
Right.
Um, so seeing neurologists these days, it's like 6 months to a year to get in to see a neurologist. It's crazy, and it's like it's across the board. I mean, in the support groups, I hear people talking about it often. Just the challenge of getting in to see people. So, but we got lucky, and I feel like things just happen for me, like even in this instance where it's like my wife called the neurologist, somebody just canceled that day, so she was able to get me an appointment the following day to go see the neurologist, or a day or two later to see the neurologist. So it was just like, look, that anyway, went in, got diagnosed, and like actually I mean I wasn't thinking, so what I was chalking it up for as we went in, I was thinking it was going to be spinal for I mean I've had so many bike crashes, so I was
Right.
thinking it was going to be neck spinal because of the way that my arm feels, and then the leg, and then like I've had a tailbone injury as well, and then the doctor comes in, and I mean it was a shock because I mean the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm in my mind it's like spinal, and then all of a sudden he's like he it was such an interesting thing because my reaction to it was like I listen to tones, like with all the sitting down with people over years, I can hear the tones that people are using in their voice. His tone came up, and like proud of it. And I mean, I guess in that case, you are like as a doctor, I'm assuming like feeling good about yourself, like diagnosing. But it was like his tone kind of came up, and he brought it forth like, yeah. And he's like, okay, got on early onset Parkinson's, and I was like, I was expecting some positive result by the way his tone was rising. It was like, And
Yeah.
then I could feel my wife next to me, and I mean that even kind of brings back some of that energy at that moment. But I was like, I mean, I didn't even know what questions to ask. I was just like utter shock.
Right.
Um,
Has there been anyone in your family that's dealt with it?
my uncle had it. He's since passed, but yeah, I did have an uncle who had it.
Okay.
Um, and I mean, I didn't know the other
Theories, and one of them is genetic. What is your intuition? Like, if you had to guess the cause, is it just like nervous system breakdown from injury, genetics? Like,
Yeah,
if you had to guess a cause, what would you say?
the TBIs. I mean, yeah, I definitely think that. Um, yeah, I mean, the amount of concussions. I've never been concerned with the concussions. I know Wendy had me go see a neurologist when we were in California, and he's telling me don't get any more concussions. But it was like, I mean, that's fearless, like with the bike.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's the concussions. Because it was after that last concussion is where I really started seeing the progression of it. So it's like I think the last one triggered it off. Um, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if you can see a big old scar on my forehead right there. And I was in Austin. I was playing basketball, and the ball was going out of bounds. I'd never played this court before, so I had a full sprint. I ran and jumped as hard as I could to throw the ball back in bounds, and there was a cut off limb of a mesquite tree that was right outside the court. And I mean, just boom, I mean, I had a full sprint, hit the edge of that branch, knocked me out for a second, just woke up, just blood pouring down my face, like huge gash in my skull, like bark, like in my skull. And, it was like one of the two times in my life that I've actually been knocked out. And, yeah, it was like probably a year to 2 years after that happened. Just stopped being good with directions. Like I used to be able to be good with directions. Like, yeah, that's north, that's south. Let's take it right here. I know where we're going. And then I don't know, it's affected my ability to be good at directions. And so that's just something I live with and know now. And I just, memorize things, but that natural intuition isn't there anymore. And I've definitely worked on, like, things for neuroplasticity or like reconnecting new pathways or connecting new pathways in my brain to try to heal that. But as of right now, that's something I'm still trying to do. So it's interesting how the brain, especially if you've gotten that many wrecks, how that can manifest in the body. Are you doing anything for like neuroplasticity or regeneration or anything like that?
yeah. So that's what I look at, like with everything, because like with the symptoms and everything that I've had,
Hmm.
it's I mean it's a day-to-day thing. Like today, like I mean I'm not feeling 100% today, and it's like the lack of sleep really affects.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's like when I'm doing my exercise, I've had to rethink my exercise. I'm not able to work out in the same way at the same intensity as I'm not able to push myself. So trying to rethink exercise movements, um, and trying to just connect, like, because like with my left side, like, and I noticed now, like recent, like even it was like a week ago, my son is like, he's like, Dad, hold your arm still. He's like, your arm's shaking, like just, and they know something, like we haven't told him like what's been diagnosed, but there's like I let them know, like, hey, there's some brain things going on from concussion. So to me, I'm like, take care of your brains. But as far as plasticity, yeah, everything, like the reading, I need to. There's a lot of things I need to be doing. Like, I mean, there's just so many things, but it's like the symptoms are so different, and it's like if you're, and I'm always a problem solution type like person, but it's like there's so many different variables coming in now that it gets overwhelming for sure. But it's like trying to figure out a path to do, because it's the consistency that, I mean, I've learned a lot, like with just helping people develop and change their lifestyle. I know that I have to have the consistency to develop those pathways. And it's like I I mean that kind of leads me into other directions that I'm, because I think like with the healing, I think there's a lot of different factors that are involved. And because I think there's a book, it's a great book. So when I first got diagnosed, And this is what I feel like from a person whose healing standpoint, as people start getting into it. Um, and I speak for mine. Like I'm always wanting to help people, so I always want to put things out for other people.
Oh
So,
yeah.
um, but when I was first diagnosed, like right after the doctor, like I learned the power of the mind, like right from the get go, because I was like these symptoms that were progressing. I mean, still quickly but slower. Like within a week's time, my symptoms went from I'd say 2 to 10 like overnight. Like I started like got diagnosed, went in, started like okay, Parkinson's. Obviously, you're going to get on Google, internet,
Right.
ChatGPT, like what the hell's Parkinson's? What does it
Right.
do? Then it's like, oh, you know what? Like, oh my gosh, like seeing the progressions, and then like a week of that. So the first week it was like in shock, like being stuck. And I think this is important for people to hear that are going through things like this, because I see people that are stuck in it, and I can see that they're still stuck in these mindsets years later. But for me, it was like I'm going through, and I'm like I was in that week. I was in. I mean, I was in complete fight or flight, you could say, which I was stuck in that anyway from the condition. But it was like just heightened, where just like shit. Like what do I have to do? Like what? Just
Right.
not thinking clear. Just like looking for solutions. Want to find anything, and I'm watching all kinds of videos. One day in this video, God, this woman's video was just stuck in my head, where she's just like, this disease, she's just going into it like this disease is so, she's an older woman. This disease is so terrible. This is just, it just ruined your life. And just, my gosh, it was like, it made me sick. It made me sick to my
Yeah.
stomach. And I'm like, and I felt compassion and sorry for her, but I'm like, I made a decision right then and there, and it's powerful, and what's leading me on to what I'm going in my mindset now, where I was like, I'm pretty much like F that. I was like, that is not going to be me. I refuse. I absolutely refuse. And I think making that emotional decision, it just shifted where, and then what I realized, I mean, this was all in an instant, like in my mind, where I was just like, okay, let's take a big step out for a second. Let's look at this situation. You get diagnosed a week ago. All of a sudden, symptoms are progressing. I mean, they're definitely progressing, but they go from 2 to 10 overnight. Like that's my mind creating it. And
Oh
in
yeah.
my mind, if my mind's creating it in that type of way, my mind can fix it. So as far as I'm concerned, and then talking about intuition, like my intuition tells me like I can heal it myself. I don't know, or I don't yet have the skills to do it. Um, but it's fascinating. But it's like I know the mind is the a very powerful. I mean, everybody knows. Like everybody knows the mind is powerful. But it's like I don't feel like I've met anybody that satisfies my intellect, that knows anybody that actually knows how to do it. Maybe Joe Dispenza or some of these people that I follow, these deeper spiritual type people, maybe.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I've worked with a lot of people the last 25 years as a trainer, and then just different things that I've been involved with the health industry, doing Cleanse America, or running health food stores and just meeting thousands of people. Yeah, the brain part is just literally like once there's a diagnosis, it's almost like people just surrender to it, and that surrender, just like you said, goes from a 2 to a 10 as far as, and so it's a fascinating subject to me, the power of the mind and belief. But yeah, like is there anything that you're actively doing to promote neuroplasticity, or to help your brain strengthen in different ways? Are you doing meditations? Is it supplements? Is it, thoughts? Is it just thought practices? What are you doing?
My whole world revolves around this right now.
Okay.
um, yes, I love this question. Um, yeah, I'm doing a lot, and I've done a lot. Like to me, I look at myself as my own research project. So it's like people just like you said, that's a great way to describe it, because that's what I feel others do. Like they just surrender and accept, and it's like To me, and this, I kind of framed myself as a healthy lifestyle engineer of helping people put pieces to the puzzle together, and that's how I look at my life now. Like, it's like to me, I was always looking into improving health and vitality and developing that, and that's what I help like clients and people do. So that's how I look at the lifestyle now. It's like problem solution. What's the problem? I'm having this problem. Let's fix it. So as far as things that I'm currently doing, it's evolving, so it's kind of developing as time goes on. And I'm always thinking, and I'm always trying to put pieces of the puzzle together. So prior to getting diagnosed, that year after my parents had left, I had done a 3 day, 3.5 day water fast, and
Nice.
then those symptoms that I was having just went away. It was like, I mean, when you do what, have you done water fast before?
Oh, yeah, many of them.
Yeah. So like, I mean, to me, I don't get the energy that everybody talks about. I mean, they kind of they're kind of uncomfortable for a few days, and
That's
which
not fun. It's not fun or easy, that's for sure.
so and see like even like you can see the way that I choose words. Like
Right.
I I don't choose. I'm not going to put something on that word that's going to make it worse. And I do that now with myself. But anyway, I did the 3 day water fast, and it was like I'm like, okay, afterward I'm like, done. I'm back to good again. I felt good. Probably lasted a week or two. Um, but and then like one of the things like in my lifestyle, my nutrition's very dialed in. Like I worked with a biochemist coach, like we did macros, and I've had to change it. Like I have my nutrition very dialed in from an energy standpoint, where I felt good. I could get my I mean, I've never been into bodybuilding and trying to be big. I was always a cyclist and more triathlete, wanting to be in that world. Um, but like I went from going to macros, and then it's been a progress over time. But I went like my nutrition's been a very big learning experience for me because I've had to rethink through things. Um, After getting diagnosed, I read a great book called The Ageless Brain. And in my mind, I'm looking for because I'm not seeing a neurologist anymore. I've seen two, and I've decided not to see anybody. But it's called The Ageless Brain.
I'm writing
And
that down.
I've, I've got it right here. Um, Gail Brinson. Um,
Okay.
But I read the book because I was concerned. I'm sitting there like, damn, am I getting Alzheimer's? Because I was like, with my brain and my thinking and those little disruptions. I mean,
Yeah.
that's because at first when I got diagnosed, like I'm a person I'm rebellious by nature. So carrying like I don't care if I'm shaking. Like if I'm shaking out in public, like
Yeah.
I wasn't personally concerned about that. But I was like starting to notice like my thinking and holding thoughts and holding conversation. Like I've always been a natural, like jump in and meet somebody. I always love meeting people. It's
Hmm.
like I'm struggling with that now.
Interesting. Yeah.
Um, but when I read The Ageless Brain, because I have my nutrition dialed in, and I don't eat very many processed foods. I don't eat very many added sugars. I mean, it's probably like 1% of my diet, maybe two. It's none now, like none. I look at my diet as life or death. I got 3 kids, so
Right.
my 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 mindset of what I have to do, and I use my kids as leverage in that type of way all the time.
Yeah.
But with The Ageless Brain, um, he started talking about keto flex. I wasn't the biggest fan of keto because I didn't look at it as a sustainable way of eating. But I'm like, okay, keto flex. So I went in, I dove in, started studying keto flex and his his nutritional nutritional ways.
Hmm.
And I'm like, so I did, I wasn't doing his. And this is one of the things as a client where people say they're following nutrition. I was saying I was following Keto Flex, but I wasn't. I was following my modified version of it, which was
Right.
not Keto Flex.
You're right.
But I just went to low carb. But what I noticed with low carbohydrate, I feel better. And I was like, I started connecting dots over time, like with nutrition. So Keto Flex. Probably 9 months ago, I'm like, I remember because I completely forgot about that fast that I did. So I did another 3 day water fast, and I was like, lo and behold, I'm like, damn, I felt good again for those weeks. So in my mind, I'm like, why is that? So trying to connect the dots, and then there's so many things that I've read and so many podcasts that I listen to, so I get them all jumbled up. But um, getting the ketones fired. I was listening to Peter Attia, who's a great longevity doctor up in Austin.
Hmm.
I was listening to him interviewing somebody on keto because I try to understand like the aspects. Okay, like what is it that's causing me? So getting the ketones firing, which I was not that I knew there's two different energy systems, but I didn't understand it as much as I understand it now. But getting the ketones firing in the brain, um,
Yeah.
and then that's what he talked about in the ageless brain, because like a big one, like with people with Alzheimer's and this and that, they're I'm listening to neuroscientist, and I think he's a neurologist who wrote the book. Um, they're talking about diabetes of the brain is like that's what they're calling Alzheimer's, which
Interesting.
he
Yeah.
says sugar is the number one cause for that. Um, but in my own process, it was learning keto. So now I'm following really strict keto, which I do find benefits, but there's still things that I gotta, because it's like I don't like sometimes when people are keto, like there is a clarity I am starting to sense and feel,
Yeah.
but I don't have it figured out yet. So see, that's
To me, it's interesting what you're describing because the keto diet basically you're not inflamed. You need carbs or sugar for inflammation to exist. And so when you're doing the water fast, it's interesting that you had such a remarkable result because, that's anti-inflammatory as well. And so I'm wondering if inflammation is kind of a root cause of the progression of your diagnosis. And the other thing is, like in studying keto and having, helped thousands of people with diet and exercise before, I think keto needs to be cycled off and on, just because the state of ketosis and your body producing ketones, that's like a survival response. So like if you're in nature and you're starving and you haven't eaten in 2 or 3 days, your body starts producing ketones, accessing fat as a source of fuel, and it's like a super fuel. And it makes your eyes sharper, it makes your senses more keen, more aware. But I personally believe that it should only be used temporarily to produce results. And then, like in your situation, I'm almost curious what would happen is, like if you just got some organic blueberries and ate half of a thing of organic blueberries and then went for a 45-minute walk and then came back and did some body weight exercises, then drank water, then stayed with keto for the rest of the day. Almost like you're directly metabolizing any natural sugars that you're eating, so it doesn't actually create
yeah,
inflammation.
yeah.
I'm curious what would happen if you tried doing that. But yeah, you're more in tune with your own body. And have you tried any other approaches, or right now is it kind of just like the water fasting and ketones kind of?
No, no, but I mean, keep preaching. I like what you're saying here. So and you talking intuition, like with you saying that, like I sense like there's little elements that you just said that are true. So I'm going to try what you just said.
Yeah, like I've definitely, even in the last probably year or two, people that get on the carnivore or keto, I'm like, yeah, everything is a balance. And so I used to study nutrigenomics, which is basically how each person's individual metabolism handles food differently. And there's different, enzymes in our liver that allow us to process things different. There's different levels of amylase in our mouth that determines whether a carb spikes our insulin more or not. And so each person is going to have, their own journey with discovering their ability to eat intuitively. But usually if someone gets on, straight carnivore, straight like a keto diet kind of, they end up after 2 to 3 years of being flat. And just like flat is the best word that I can use. And, there's, to me, that is it's an extreme diet, and I've seen it actually work, miracles short term, because you're taking away people's processed foods and sugars, and like your body's going to respond very well after that. But I do believe that our body needs, protein, fats, and sugars. And each person's balance is going to be a little bit different with what they're required to do during a day, day to day. Like an office person, is going to, require very little, honestly, energy to get through the day, and they're usually the ones that overeat the most. Whereas like a mom who's breastfeeding, who has a 2-year-old running around, is trying to like do laundry and like run a part-time job and like still be a wife, it's like that's a completely different energy. Or like someone who's trying to be a professional cyclist, like those are all different energy requirements. And so I would almost like look at your life as it exists and say, what is the most optimal form of fuel to get me through today, to get me through this exercise, to get me through this week, and almost like plan out your diet according to what the actual energetic demands are. And so in your situation, I would probably focus on truly just on healing and becoming like you're already working on the connection, but becoming as connected to your body as possible. And like when you're saying like, okay, I went from a 2 to a 10, what was the catalyst for that? And whatever the catalyst was from you going from a 2 to a 10, just like completely avoid that at all costs. Yeah. And anything that you're doing as far as like, we talked earlier, you're doing weight training. And whenever we used to work together, Michael would always be like, okay, can you feel this firing? Can you feel your posterior delt firing with the TheraBand? It's like, I'm actually curious, if you're doing a physical workout with, TheraBands or weights, is it harder to feel the muscle firing, or is it different?
No, no. I try to be as very focused as I can. For what we learned from them was so valuable. I'm going to restart that one again.
Yeah.
No, like as far as feeling the muscles fire, like the interesting part is some of the days, and this is the difference, like with what I'm going through. Some of the days, like I know right and left brain, but some days I actually feel the left side more than the right.
Interesting. But in what way? Like you're just hypersensitive to touch, or just to the muscles firing, or what?
Just feeling them contract. So some days I feel the left side more than the right, and sometimes it's different. And that's one of the confusing things about this. Like you starting to feel like, okay, I figured it out, and then it's like there's another curveball at you. Like then you got a different symptom.
Yeah.
But as far as connecting and building the body. Yeah, I can I can fire the muscles. Yes.
Okay, good. Any other things that you're doing? So, how often are you lifting weights or doing physical exercise like that? Is it every day, every other day? Monday, Wednesday, Friday?
Yeah, so I have like this is one of the reasons I'm struggling a little bit more today is like I didn't exercise for 3 days, and that's the first time probably in 8-9 months that Thursday so when I start getting really fatigued, like I'll rest my body. I'll still stretch, I'll still do a little bit of walks.
Mm-hmm.
But generally I'm going about 6 days, and I have to, like with my neurological system, like I can't overdo it anymore. Like in my past, like, I mean, I'm getting my heart rate up 160, 170. I'm pushing, like I'm out pushing myself, and I love pushing myself. So this is something I'm having to relearn, because now I'm trying to maximize my energy to get the best return, because I sense that I actually don't sense. I know. I won't even say that I sense. I know my body can heal itself. I mean, even just my intuition there and things that I've learned. But like I'm trying to use everything like the nutrition, figuring out the energetics. That's one of the things he used in the Ageless Brain. But it's like the energy, and I appreciate your recommendations before because those are things that I've been sitting and thinking. That flat feeling that you mentioned, that
Hmm.
that resonates with me deeply. So it's like because I'm trying to provide like because you got to like I sit and think from my perspective. I was like when your body's feeling good, you're kind of more in homeostasis where everything's going to be firing. It'll heal. It'll feel better. And I was like trying to cut out like you mentioned before the like the mental things that because that was very important early on. I didn't read anything about symptoms for almost a whole year, and then I started getting into some of the support groups, and I didn't do it for like support and help. Like I did it for seeking out people that may have spontaneously healed it. So but as I started getting into it, that's where the mind got involved again, and all of a sudden, like I started reading these symptoms, and I mean, it's a lot of people just complaining about like their situation, which I mean,
Right.
understandably, it's bad. Like I feel like I was insensitive a couple times with a couple of the things that I had put together, just because I was ignorant because I took pretty much a year off to get my mindset right. But I
Mm.
started noticing how my mind started manifesting like that surrendering. It's not it's something weird in the brain that evolves the disruption, dis-ease. And whenever I say dis-ease, it's two words. Like I
Right.
don't, it's like
Out
I'm
of
not gonna put that on myself.
right. Hmm.
So um but yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
That's all good. Um, so let's see. Uh, describe just like it can be brief, like your diet per day. How many times you eating? Like in a perfect, what's a perfect day look like for you? Get up, eat eggs, exercise, drink lots of water, do a meditation. Like, what does a perfect day look like for you with your on your path of healing?
All right, so on my path to healing, a perfect day is I get about at least 7 hours of sleep. Um, then I got a routine. My routine's very important to me in the morning. So I get up, I make coffee, um, I weigh myself. I do the same thing pretty much every morning and get in a routine. I have to get into like as I'm making I have to give myself space. So I'm setting intentions that I want for the day. So it's like I sit down with my coffee, um, but and it goes two different ways because some of the days I'm getting up early and I don't get to do the routine that I want because I have clients come in really early in the morning. But
Mm.
a perfect day is like getting 7, 8 hours of sleep, having my coffee, going and doing it can be anywhere between 5, 10 minutes. I sit in a chair, I just sit up nice and tall. I'll generally do some um, I forget yeah, like breathing things. I forget what they call it. Anyway, I do the breathing, um, and then I'll come up and I have to get my mind focusing on the things that I want to for the day because I've noticed that if I don't, my sympathetic system and the repeat things in my mind will just, it causes more chaos for the day. But if I sit down, I journal, I lead my thoughts,
Hmm.
I start being able to create more of the outcomes that I'm looking to achieve. So I do that. I generally don't exercise till usually in the afternoon, sometimes usually between 12 and 3. And I, I don't have it planned out. This is one of the challenges now with what I got because I used to be a lot more organized with it. Um, my nutrition, I do keto. So my keto is I've been doing intermittent fasting most days. So generally I eat my last meal at 6 p.m. So I try never to eat 3 hours prior to going to bed. And then I've been eating around 10, 11, 12 o'clock most days.
Nice. You're getting 16 hours on average.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Nice.
On some of the early mornings, I'll do a squirt of MCT oil because I do notice that does give me more clarity with my
Yeah,
brain.
you do that with the coffee.
No, no, I usually wait a little bit later in the day. Like
Okay, gotcha.
I'm a coffee. I love the taste of my coffee. So it was
Have you
like
tried butter in the coffee?
no. Well, yeah, I've done it before, and it does help. But I love my coffee in the morning, so that's one of my could be bad habits. um, but yeah, so I do the intermittent fasting. Generally, I eat two, three big meals per day. Generally, I'm hitting around 2,100 to probably around, I'd say about 2,000 to 2,300 calories a day. I'm probably more usually around that 2,100 range. I hit protein levels consistently always, so I don't deviate on my protein for years and years. So generally, protein I'm getting about 170 to 180 grams per day protein. Um, but I love the advice you gave me because one of the things that I've noticed with my nutrition is the I had potatoes twice like after workouts just and it wasn't even a lot, but all of a sudden like I had this explosion of energy for the
Hmm.
beginning of the day. So I was like, I know there's something with the glucose to connect the dot there. So it's like and I've been contemplating whether before or after exercise. Um, Now, the exercise, I do combinations of, I do the resistance training 3 days a week pretty consistently. I go heavy, so one of the days is intense heavy, and I'm trying to get the BDNF, the brain drive neurotrophic factor with that.
Okay.
Um,
Are you doing are you focusing specifically on your upper body? You're doing full body, like
no, it's I kind of I don't have a plan when I go in, and that this is one of the things I used to always have some type of plan, but I go in. Generally, it's day three because that's why I took off Thursday and then ended up having a busy day on Friday. Uh,
yeah.
but um, generally, I don't have a plan, but I will go heavy. Generally, chest. I'll do deadlifts. I'll do heavier legs. I won't compromise any of my joints. So these are the ones that I feel comfortable with. I do heavy back, I do pull ups, and I just exert because I can't overexert because I can. I'm very capable of doing it, which
Hmm.
is hard because when I'm feeling good, I always want to work hard.
Right.
But when I'm in it, like I know if I work too hard and I end up getting sore for the next 2 3 days, I'm just spent, like I'm overexerted. So I'm I'm getting wiser with age, but I'm learning that as we go.
So then you're actively is basically working out, intermittent fasting, occasionally longer fast, mindful practices. Um, Nice. Do you find that like normal everyday stressors, do those affect you? Like if the kids are being loud and they need correction and you're having to watch them because your wife is doing something or traffic, or does do stressors affect you?
So this is the most annoying part about what I go through, like with the neurological system, but it's getting better.
Yeah.
And I want to get in. Don't let me forget about the neopex as we get into it. But as far um, as far as the stressors, like when I start, yeah, I mean this is the hardest part because conflict. I have a really hard time handling any of it, any type of disagreement, like even just little subtle things in conversation where it's just like all of a sudden it's not like the things that I experience are nothing. I've never experienced them before. Like I never experienced the feelings of it. Like as I get into it, it's like all of a sudden like there's no thought there. Like I can't argue with anybody.
Hmm.
Like just little subtle things between my wife and I
Yeah.
that like a disagreement with the kids or something. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I just got to end up keeping my mouth shut because
Probably worked wonders in your marriage.
yeah, right, right. I know. I'm not. No, you're right. You're right. Happy wife, happy life.
Right.
um, but it's like it's just subtle things. Like there are things that have never been a big deal before, where it's just that's the part that's been challenging. And like I don't know what the solution, but they are getting better because I've been in a Neopex, I think it's called.
Yep.
It's downstairs, but it's a supplement. There's a book that I read recently. It's called Fixing a Broken Brain, and
Okay.
it's a very science based book. But like I love science, so it's like I usually like to know reasons why behind everything before I make decisions and understand context. Um, but I read his, and I'm looking for the mavericks in the industry because, like, with this disruption, it's like they say there's no cure, but there seems to be people spontaneously healing misdiagnosed.
Mm,
So, like, I'm trying to find the mavericks that are kind of ahead of the curve, like the Einsteins that were ahead,
right.
kind of coming up with the leading the chart. So, but I committed to doing this supplement for 90 days. My brain, and it's a little bit harder. Like having a harder time like maintaining my focus
Yeah.
today. But with this, like it's definitely been a huge improvement. Like with the brain fog, I guess it would be
Okay.
the brain
And
fog.
that's Neopex, Neopex.
Neaupa or PEX, something like that. But it's Dr. Clark's CLARKE's protocol from fixing a broken brain.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's say that there is someone else who just recently had a diagnosis or is dealing with, some of the manifestations that have been affecting you. What encouragement would you give to them?
Have hope.
Yeah.
I I think it's one of like I think like life is never hopeless. Like there's so many things that I've learned through this process, and it's like I was diagnosed a little over a year and a half ago, and I would argue I just had the best year of my life being diagnosed. And it's the way that we view it. Like early on, like when I first got diagnosed, like I made that decision that I talked about earlier when I saw that video of the woman. But there was a time when I looked out the window, I had just a sense, and I saw my wife on the ground crying, like right outside the car, and I knew it. I knew it would had to do with the diagnosis. Um, so obviously, I made a run downstairs to go support her, and the kids are all sitting in, like as I'm running down, the kids are looking in the window. So, but that was like my wife. She had dropped the glass that she had made, like her food prep for the day. We homeschool, so she's taking them out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Yeah, I feel a little emotional as I get into this." Um, Sorry.
No, go for it. Be emotional.
Um, she said when that glass hit the whew, yeah, I'm gonna start crying.
Cry.
See, these are the things I just gotta let out because I know letting out the emotion helps.
Yeah.
Um, but she said when that glass hit the ground, um, she felt like her whole world had just fell apart, like everything that we had planned. And that glass represented the world falling apart.
Wow. Yeah, it's hard.
I didn't get this emotional when it happened. Um, and then that's how we are, like with each other. Like one is struggling, the other's strong. But I was very clear that day where I went up and obviously hugging her, and I was like, "Hey, it's gonna be okay."
Yeah.
And then it was like, no, I wasn't crying at that point. Like at the point where it was just like I mean, that's where this, and there's like a knowing that was coming from within me, and I'm feeling it coming now, where it was just like things are just going to be different. Um, and it doesn't, and that has helped her through the process a lot because you sit and you frame, so somebody who's going through the process of a supposed incurable disruption,
Mm-hmm.
um, like life always changes, like it never stays the same, and being able to maintain a mindset, I mean, that's the challenging part, especially like, I mean, we're given our just natural ways that our body lives, and like when those type of things are disrupted and you get into that sympathetic, that's flight or fight place, um it's very hard, and like you got to know when you're in that place you're not thinking clear.
Right.
So using like even my son as an example, yesterday at his swim race he ended up not getting a place that he wanted and he's all upset, and like you get in those emotional places, you can't think clearly to make decisions. So it's like using meditation, because meditation is a big practice that I practice right now. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like you've got to keep the mind, you gotta really, and it's complex. I don't know what other people's process would be because I feel like everybody's different. But like you have to realize like the world's not falling apart, it's just evolving, and it's, I always look at life as happening for me, never to me.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what happens, no matter what emotions, and that's how I reset myself, like even as I'm going through emotional things, like like life is happening to me, like what can I learn from this, what can I gain, because the challenges that we have in life is where the opportunities lie to grow, to learn, to develop. And
Mm-hmm.
like life life is, I mean, it's beautiful. Like one of the gifts this disruption has given me is the ability to, like, and they're moments, but they're getting bigger and bigger, and I'm these are reasons I feel confident, like I can't lose, like with the healing, the things that I am gaining from what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Are winning.
Yeah, it's, well, it's depth of life, like it's learning. I feel like I'm tied into some, like I feel like I have a purpose. Like I feel like I have a purpose, like with everything that I do, and I,
Mm-hmm.
as a human being, and her purpose gives me hope. Because one of the things, like through the process, I mean, there's just so many things that are in my mind screwed up, like false hope. And that was something that I read early on, and it made me so angry. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like I feel like we're all here, like we live in this beautiful world, like looking out, I got this beautiful oak tree in front of my house. And there's moment by moment things, if in learning how to be present, learning how, and these are things that I'm developing. And it's like when I'm at it, I'm at peace, I'm at ease, not
Right.
anymore in that dis.
Yeah.
Um, but it's powerful, but it's like learning to open the eyes and just see this world, like even, I mean, even the connection with my kids are just moments, like I had this beautiful moment with my daughter, like within 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it goes with the power of the mind. I don't, there are things that I'm learning through these meditations that I'm doing, but
Mm-hmm.
usually I do them in the meditations and I shift my state. But I was like, I was miserable running around with my 4-year-old, and we're playing, she's having a great time. And I'm like, oh, I'm struggling. Like fatigued. I'm stressed. It's been a long day of work. And I'm like, all of a sudden, like I took myself to the meditation, and I'm like, I made an intentional shift, like I'm grateful for this moment, and an instant shift happened in an instant. All of a sudden I saw her run around, she's turned around, I didn't see that before, I knew she's having the time of her life.
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, like I was in that moment, and that moment lasted all night. It was beautiful. So it's like there's clues there to healing as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's a powerful invitation. It's an invitation to live so fully present in the moment that everything else disappears, and that's beautiful. I was going to share one verse with you. I think I might actually make a poster and send it to you. Just coming from it as a Christian, there's one verse as you were talking. It's Philippians 4:8, and it says. So it's like a letter being written. It says, "Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue and if there's anything praiseworthy, meditate on these." And so it's basically like, if as a reflection in your life, like, are all your thoughts true? Are the things you're meditating and thinking about, are they noble? Are they just? Are they pure? Are they lovely? Are they of good report? Are they beautiful? It's like it's like a very simple verse from the Bible, but it just also just shows you, like, if you're thinking about things, make sure there are these things. And I think that's really a powerful reflection that I just kind of got from what you were talking about just now. I just wanted to share that with you.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Yes, yes, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I try to, I am a Christian, and I try to meet everyone where they're at in life. But to me, a lot of times, like, I've been meeting a lot of people that have cancer and dealing with cancer, and to me, the fear of death, like, if you can make peace with death itself, it's going to help you heal faster than if you're living in fear of dying. And so, being able to view life through an eternal lens, not just like the present lens of, like, this reality ends. If I live to be 100, then I have 50 more years, or 80, then I have 30. It's that's just like a very temporary way to view it. But if I view it through an eternal lens, where there's an eternity spent with God after this, then it helps release the fear of the end of this temporary little blip. And that actually, while you're on earth, helps you be able to heal and strengthen yourself, because you're not living in fear. And fear is one of the most acidic, like, emotional states that we can stay in. And so to have, like, freedom of thought, of having an eternal lens with everything that you do in life, that's been very powerful for me. And then, like, encouraging people that are going through things also to develop, like, an eternal lens with how they're viewing it. But yeah, that's I mean, I really, really, really respect and appreciate, like, you sharing this today, Chris, because you're vulnerable, you're honest. The things you're doing, I believe, are going to help people. And I think that with your mindset, you actually could, like, truly help people, like, figure out, like, a real cure for this. It's, like, permanent. And everyone be like, oh, we didn't know this, but if you do intermittent fasting, and then you do, one liquid fast a week with herbal teas and water and specific juices, and and then if you do this amount of cardio, and if you do this, electrical stimulation to fire your nervous system with acupuncture, like, I could almost imagine, like, a protocol being developed where it's like, oh, this just needed to be reconnected here, on, like, a purely physical, expression of healing. But what you're going into, what you're delving into has more depth than just the physical. You're already bringing in the emotional with your wife, your children, your mindsets, and dealing with stress. And so you're bringing kind of mind, body, and spirit into it. And I think that ultimately there's never going to be just a physical answer. It's going to have to go deeper than that. I actually want to connect you. The last podcast I did was with a doctor who's in Panama now. He was a Western medicine doctor, and he does emotional healing. And he says that basically all of the manifestations that we have in our body, the root cause is some sort of emotional trauma that we're either unaware of, or haven't expressed, or haven't processed. And so I'd like to connect y'all, because there may be something there.
Yeah.
But no, I truly, man, I appreciate your time this morning. It's been meaningful to me, and I really appreciate your vulnerability and honesty. Like, as a reflection, when people listen to this, that's the most powerful thing that we can do is just not pretend.
Yes, yes.
So, do you have any kind of closing thoughts or ideas or questions or anything at all?
There's so many things that yeah, sorry, I wasn't having my best day. I wrote a bunch of
Chris, it was
notes.
perfect. It was Chris. It was perfect.
Um, yeah, I mean, I kind of like, I want to leave people like never lose hope. Like, regardless of the situation, I love what you just said to there is about finding your eternal too, what you had mentioned. Um, because there's always hope. Like, and I don't know how to describe for somebody to find that, but being able to just develop it, like I guess if I said to somebody's like learn how to put intentions out, like to be intentional, because the hope, like it's always there. Like the reason when I got into the support groups, like I'm realizing like I've always known I wanted to help people, but I know that I have a gift to inspire people. Um, and then I've learned through many different experiences in life, there's always positive, like even like when you don't think it's there, like you sometimes you got to dig. Like I've got journals of just words, but it's like whether you're writing or speaking, because like one of the challenges with me now is like I have a hard time communicating out of my mouth the ideas that I have in my brain.
Mm, interesting.
But like I can sit and write and journal and think through them. So that's what I prefer, like putting things out written versus trying to because I used to do a lot of videos and I felt like I've always been ADD and long-winded.
A bird.
Yes. uh, but yeah, the communicating, but it's like never lose part of hope. Like, and then if there's a parting thing that I would say, I was like, it's just going to be different, and different doesn't mean it's worse.
Right.
Different just means you just need to adapt, that you just need to pivot, that you just life is providing you opportunities always, and what can you find within whatever's happening, the opportunities that serve you. So that, yeah, that's what I kind of like to leave it with.
Awesome, man. Well, is there any way, how can people find you?
You can just look up Christopher Chouteau on Facebook. You can find my personal page. I share everything publicly. I'm very transparent. I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not here to hide anything. Or you can find me on Freedom Body Fitness if you're looking for the coaching aspect.
Cool. Yeah, I truly enjoy your posts. We don't, as you know, it's one good thing about social media. I don't think there's a lot of good things about social media, but the fact that we haven't seen each other in 20 years, but I'm fairly up to date with how you're processing and living through your posts, and even your communication style in your posts, where you put spaces between each sentence or paragraph, allows the mind to absorb each
Yeah.
thing individually. That's a powerful way of writing. I do that, and I enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I've never prayed for someone on a podcast. Would you be open to me just saying a quick prayer?
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay. Father in heaven, I just pray for Chris. I just pray that you would heal his body. In Jesus' name, I just pray that you would take away anything that is going on in his body that is manifesting these things. And yeah, I just thank you for his testimony here and his vulnerability. And I just pray you would strengthen his body, strengthen his marriage, his life. I pray that you would give him deep insights into the things that he's trying to help people overcome. And I pray for a supernatural healing in Jesus' name. Just thank you for my friend Chris, and just his openness to sharing. And your name, amen.
Thank you.
That's,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the prayer.
So that's something too. Let me just say too. I felt that like I feel so like I've not been a praying person in my life, but it's
Yeah.
like I feel the energy that comes like when I first got diagnosed. If you go back and look at my post from the beginning, there's been an evolution, and I don't know if it would show through. I've never gone back and actually read,
Yeah.
all the posts, but it's like there's an evolution week to week. But I asked for people for prayers at that point. Like when I first got diagnosed, I felt the energy. So it's like, I know there's energy at deeper level things. I know we didn't get into any of that, but it's like connection through meditation, through the depth. Like there are deep things that have to do with healing that are out there. Like I don't, but I felt like as you were just praying there, I could feel the energy in my body. I feel it through when I do the meditations. I know it's just, I don't know how to
Sounds like
describe it.
there's something to move towards then.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Awesome.